with the cards.
So I think it's safe to say that we have an entitlement problem in this country. We have a laziness problem in this country, that these government assistance programs have literally crippled people's ability to even want to work, to even want to take care of themselves. And I think it's something that we've known has been a problem for a long time, but with the government shutdown and people potentially being at risk of losing their EBT and their food stamps and their government assistance within the next few days, we're seeing just how bad that problem has gotten. Now, I think I can speak for a lot of people when I say I don't have a problem with government assistance. I don't have a problem with food stamps or EBT or people needing those things at times in their life when they are struggling, because I think a lot of us have been there. And while we may not have always, all of us may not have resorted to things like government assistance to help us, we have needed help from other people in some way. And there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. But the idea of all of that, wherever you get that help from, is it for it to be a temporary solution until you yourself can get back on your feet, because you cannot rely on other people forever. But some people seem to think that you should be able to. So we're going to look at some of the clips today of the most insane reactions to potentially losing their EBT in food stamps, because we're not just getting people now that are crying about, what they're going to do for the next few weeks and how they're going to make things work, but we're now getting people that are threatening to commit crimes. They're threatening to harm retail workers. They're threatening to hurt or attack anybody that gets in their way. And again, I think that this just demonstrates how bad things have gotten and how much reform to these programs and restrictions on these programs is desperately, desperately needed. They're just confirming that the restrictions that the Trump administration is imposing on these things are long overdue. So we're going to get into this. But before we get too much further, I'm Outspoken Samantha. I'd appreciate if you would like this video and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for doing both of those things. So let's get straight into this. We have one lady here who is one of many that are threatening to just go into the stores and walk out with grocery carts full of food. She's like, if I can't take it from the government assistance, I'm just going to go in and directly take it from the store. Lovely.
Hey, y'all, straight up like this. I just got that text that the link is definitely cut the fuck for November. Y'all better say the fuck my way in these stores. I'm walking out with carts and I'm not paying for shit. Trump, if you want motherfuckers start looting, it's gonna happen. Before my kids go broke this bitch like Jock, I'm gonna be stealing like it ain't no tomorrow. I am going to go in that store, get everything I get regularly. I'm going to bag my shit up, swipe my link card. As soon as that bitch say ain't no pending balance on there, I'm going to walk the out. And I'm going to have one of my cousins with me that'll punch your ass so hard you won't think a Jet 2 holiday hit your bitch ass if you think I ain't gonna walk out that stuff.
She seems nice. But here's the thing. If you have the energy and you are able-bodied enough to go into a grocery store and stock it up with all of the things that you want and try to muscle your way past security and get out of there and punch anybody in the face who gets in your way, if you are able-bodied enough to do that, then you are able-bodied enough to work. If you are willing to risk being put behind bars and being taken away from your children in that way, then you should have the time and energy to spend maybe a few hours a week actually working so that you can pay for these things. But instead, your mind immediately goes to, I'm going to commit a crime. I'm going to take what I want. You guys can't get in the way. I'm even going to get my family members involved. And there's nothing you can do about it. That's not how the system works, though. So good luck with that. So this lady thinks that she has some great advice in saying, you know what, just don't even get in people's way. Don't even try to stop them. No, please do try to stop them. I hope the police do get in their way. I hope that there are security guards. I hope that there are people that will stop you from trying to steal groceries. You are not intimidating. You are not entitled to this stuff. I hope that every single person that tries this ends up in jail.
Say to them retail workers during this hard time of what's going on in the world, I really don't advise y'all to try to chase after anybody that's trying to collect them some food for their family as they're walking out that door with that cart, because you might around and don't make it home. What's going on in this world, I really think it's y'all best bet to let them people walk about their store with that shit and you mind your business.
You're going to be charged with stealing and with assault. Sounds like a great plan. Let me know how that goes for you. And this lady is trying to organize just a bunch of people to do it all at the same time to pretty much overwhelm these stores and see what the employees, what the police, what security are even going to do about it.
Oh, people, my people, I wish we stopped crying about this EBT card. At the end of the day, they trying to see if we going to stick together. And we are going to stick together. November 3rd at 6:30, we're going to Walmart. And at 7:30, we're going to walk out of Walmart with our fucking buggies, okay? The thing is, they can catch everybody. You feel me? All you got to do is run, Forrest, run. As long as we going to have everything we need for Thanksgiving, that's all that matters, bitch. Run, Forrest, run.
How are you going to run with carts of groceries? How are you going to run faster than the security guard or the police officer? How are you going to run faster than somebody being able to take your photo and put you on some kind of list to ban you from the store? Like, you guys are not thinking about how many ways this can go so badly for you in the long term. And what I honestly hope that they do, there is some kind of registry of people that do try to steal from the stores. And I hope that all of them are banned from ever using EBT and food stamps again. You have the ability to run out of a store with a cart full of groceries, then you have the ability to work at least part-time. Can you imagine if people put their time and energy that they are planning on putting toward stealing from the stores and organizing as a group to get together to do this in one big mass group? If they put that time and energy into figuring out how to make what they have at their home stretch, figuring out what money they do have, and figuring out where they can shop to get items that will get them through a couple of weeks, or going out and applying for a job, maybe finding some seasonal work, if they put that time and energy towards actual solutions, how much better off they would be in the long run. They would reignite that spark in their brain that says, hey, I can actually take care of myself. I don't actually need government assistance for every aspect of my life. Maybe it's not a good thing. Maybe it doesn't make me a good person to constantly think that everybody else needs to provide for me. There's so much good that can come from putting your time and energy toward the right things. But all of these people, because of their belief that they are entitled to whatever it is that they want, has crippled their brains and hindered their ability to be independent, to want to take care of themselves. They don't really even want to do that anymore. And that's what long-term dependency does to people. So I've also been seeing online a lot of people posting videos saying, if you don't feel bad for people that are about to lose their government assistance and might not be able to feed their families in the next couple of weeks, then that makes you a bad person. Well, first, I'm not going to be lectured about not wanting these programs to be abused because I pay taxes into them. At the same time, I go out and I work for my family and I do everything I can to make sure that they are taken care of while not using these things if I absolutely don't have to. I'm going to be lectured about just wanting to make sure that the people that are using them actually need them. I am not going to feel bad for people that are clearly able to work and able to take care of themselves to some extent, choosing not to. I do feel bad for people that do legitimately need these things that are going to be struggling this month. I feel bad for people that physically cannot go out and get a job, or for children who are having to deal with the consequences of their parents' actions in choosing not to do everything they can to make sure that they have food on the table and that they have what they need. I do feel bad for people that are impacted by this in a very negative way, and they don't really have the power to do much about it. There are lots of those people, but it's all of the people that are obviously using this not because they need to, but because they want to and don't feel like they should have to solve their own problems, that it's becoming a huge problem and they're giving a bad name to everybody else who needs it. And I do feel like there are a couple of people that kind of explained or demonstrated why some of us are just feeling more frustration than sympathy for a lot of these people.
I'm not having an aneurysm over people losing their food stamps on November 1st. Here's why.
Come grocery shop with us. It go by faster. One of you. This what I pick, and this what he picked.
I tell you what, how about this instead? If you're on food stamps, you get a pre-selected box of meat, bread, rice, food staples, and fruits and vegetables. No more handing you a debit card filled with other people's cash for you to go load up on Oreos. The goal here is to keep you from starving because taxpayers do not need to bankroll your junk food pantry or your health problems.
And this is something that I 100% support. While all of these people were complaining about all of these restrictions that the Trump administration put on these government assistance programs just a couple of months ago, what we're seeing is that we actually need more restrictions. You need to be able to show that you are working or doing community service or giving back to the system in some way. And you also need to realize that these programs are temporary. They are meant to help you get by until you can get back on your feet. They're not meant to just fund whatever it is that you want to put into your body or whatever treats and extras that you think that you deserve. If you want those things, then that is motivation for you to go out and find a way to earn the money to buy them. There's another gal that had a great take about why all of this has just become so insane.
I mean, but why do you taxpayers care so much where your money goes for the SNAP recipients? Like, what is it? It's not like they're possibly abusing it or anything, right?
This lady was standing behind me and I was getting ready to pay. And of course I take out my EBT card because what else am I going to pay with?
Cash, debit card, credit card, you know, the same thing that people who don't receive EBT pay with.
And then she's like, ma'am, I love your nails. How much did they cost? I'm like, oh, these were like $85.
No nails done here because that's a luxury. And I don't typically splurge on luxuries because I'd rather make sure that everything is provided for my house and my kids. So we do glue-ons around here. $8.99 from Walgreens.
And then once she sees me taking out my card, she starts bitching. She's like, you paid $85 for your nails, but you need EBT to pay for your groceries? I'm like, yes, bitch.
That's the problem right there. If you can afford $80 to $85 to however much money you spend on getting your nails done, which is not a necessity, as you can see. If you can afford to spend that money, then you should be using that money on groceries. Plain and simple. This is why people are tired of people overusing SNAP benefits.
I completely agree with that. And I know that we have all seen those videos of these women screaming and yelling about not getting their food assistance, not getting their government paycheck this month. And every single one of them seems to have their hair done, seems to have their nails done, seems to be, dressed up. A lot of them aren't particularly skinny, so I know they're not starving. They seem to be really well taken care of and indulging in luxuries that a lot of us don't even indulge in. Mine are glue-on. Paying for nails is a luxury. Paying for groceries is something that comes first before getting my nails done. This gal just kind of highlighted that problem. And then she highlighted other things that people would prefer to spend their money on, which is at the root of why they're so upset about losing these benefits.
Quiet as it's kept, and I know y'all won't admit this because I know how y'all are, but y'all aren't really outraged that the food stamps, the EBT shit is about to get shut down. Y'all are really outraged because now you're going to have to take the money you normally buy weed, wigs, bundles, get your nails done. Y'all are going to have to take those funds and buy food now. And don't say I'm lying because when y'all were receiving food stamps, you were selling the food stamps. So you weren't worried about feeding your children then. But all of a sudden now, you're outraged. Oh my God, like, why are we gonna feed our kids the same way you've been feeding them? Sleeping with that man. Get a few funds from him. Keep doing it. You know what I'm saying? Y'all ain't been worried about them kids and their well-being, but all of a sudden now, you are. Okay.
So I think we get the point. This is not about taking assistance away from people who genuinely need it. This is about weeding out the people who are taking and don't want to give anything back, who are taking advantage of a system because they have been allowed to. And it's coming out of our pocket. Like I said, I don't mind government assistance programs existing. I don't mind people using these things when they need them. I was listening to a story the other day. Some lady posted a TikTok about how she had needed food stamps earlier in her life. And she got pregnant when she was in college. She had her baby, and she was saying how she relied on food assistance programs to help her get by so that she could focus on her education. She got herself into law school and now she is a lawyer. And she said that without those things, she wouldn't have been able to focus on her classes and progress as much as she did and get to where she's at now. And to me, that's the purpose of these programs, is to help you get by so that you can focus on bettering your circumstances. Maybe you can put that time and energy into other areas until you can take over all of the aspects of your life so that you can be fully self-reliant and independent. But it is not meant to be a lifelong dependency program. And we can see the longer that people are on it, the more they find ways to abuse the systems, the more that they feel like they're just entitled to it, and the less likely they are to have the ability to get back into the functional independent aspects of society where they should be. Well, that is just a collection of the crazy that I wanted to bring to you guys, and I would love to hear what you guys think about all of this in the comments below. I also wanted to just bring to your attention, I have seen a lot of people talking about how food banks are really going to be struggling over the next couple of weeks, and it's not just people that are losing their food assistance that are going to need that help. It's people from the military, federal workers, people that are going without their paychecks over the next couple of weeks or over the next month that are going to be visiting food banks as well. And I have heard that donating money instead of items to the food banks is a better idea because they can get things at a wholesale price, they can get discounts, and it's easier for them to assess what it is that they need and the needs of their community, and purchase what it is that they are in need of. So if you can donate to a food bank in your area, that would be great, because there are a lot of people that are not leeches on society that truly are going to need help. And I plan on making a donation within the next couple of days. That being said, please leave your thoughts in the comments below. I appreciate you guys so much for being here. As you know, we always end with a clip of Charlie Kirk. Keep it real, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.
The question is, many have argued that the welfare state has a negative human effect by disincentivizing marriage, family, and strong work ethic. So does the welfare state undermine Catholic social thought values?
It's a great question. I'd say absolutely. And we have the data and the evidence to show that. There's a great book written by one of my favorite thinkers of today, by Jason Riley, African-American conservative, who says, "Stop helping us." And he's literally, and his argument that he makes is that through the creation of the welfare state in America, we've seen these communities get worse. Just look at one particular number that is just, it's dramatic. Single motherhood in the black community in the 1960s was 21%. Now it's 77%. 77%. Well, what happened over the last 60 years? Did America become a more racist country? No, we actually became significantly less racist. What happened? If you're with a straight face going to say that America is somehow more racist today than in the Jim Crow South of the 1960s, I got some people in the antebellum South to introduce you to, because that is just adverse to reality and facts, my friend. I mean, that is an astonishing statement. That's an astonishing reaction. We are a significantly less racist country today than we were in the 1960s. We elected a black president, had a black attorney general, more black members in Congress have ever had. We have more respect for people of color than any other time in human history. This idea that America has not gotten less racist, we still have racists in our country without a doubt, but we've gotten significantly less racist. So to point that somehow single black motherhood is attributable to institutional racism is not correct. You know what you can point to? The creation of the Great Society by Lyndon Baines Johnson in the 1960s, where we literally incentivize bad behavior. And Thomas Sowell says it best, an African-American economist from the University of Chicago, where we tell people in urban communities, not tell them, through government incentives, if you have a child, we'll support you, but if you get married, you stop getting your check. That's, if you reward bad behavior, you're going to get more of that bad behavior. And the results speak for themselves. The two communities in America per capita that receive the most government assistance is the African-American community and the Native American community. The two communities that have the most poverty, the most suffering, the highest drug use, and the most likelihood to go to prison are the African-American community and the Native American community. There is a direct correlation between the size and involvement of government into these communities and its impenetrable capacity for them not to be able to break out of that poverty.